Hey, it's Vanessa from Crafty Gemini Creates, and in this video tutorial we are working on a simple crochet project. I'm going to show you how to make this really cute little headband and teach you some different tips and tricks on different ways to customize the width and the length of the measurement of whatever headband you want to make, okay? Let's get started with some of the supplies that we're going to be using. We have some Encore yarn here. It comes in a ton of different colors, and this is an acrylic and wool blend. It's really soft and it works great for this type of a project. And I'm going to be using this bright yellow color so it can show up nicely on camera, but we're going to talk about some different samples, and you can see that I have one in this nice like blue color here that I made for myself. So aside from that, usually you can look at the label on the yarn that you're using and it will tell you what size hook to use. So on this particular package, it says a size H hook. And so I'm going to grab my size H hook and a size G hook, which is one size smaller. And I am just grabbing my crochet hooks from my little carrot pouch, which is another tutorial that I have here on the Crafty Gemini Creates channel. So stay tuned to the end of the video and we'll link you to this zippered pouch, this carrot shaped zippered pouch. So if you want to make that, you can. So I have my crochet hook size G and H here, and then you're also going to need a tapestry needle so we can weave in our yarn ends at the end, and then a small pair of scissors, and that's all you need to get started with your crochet project. So very quickly, let's go over some different ways that you can make the width of the headband, because you have to determine this before you start crocheting, okay? So right here I have a couple different samples, and these are the same swatches using the same hooks, but I start off with a different number of stitches. On this one I just did 5, and the width of this headband here for something like this would be great for a child, like a baby or a newborn. If you're going to make a cute little headband, maybe add a flower to it or something. This is the wider one. This is one that we're going to be working on here today. I think for this one I started off with 7 or 8 stitches, and for this one I did 10. Okay, so you can see how thick and wide it is. So if you like that look better, you can definitely use the pattern that I'm going to show you in this tutorial and customize it just to get a thicker headband, okay? But here I have a couple of different samples. And now one thing I want you to know about this headband that I'm going to show you to do is that I actually make them with a twist. I'm going to show you later how to weave this in, but I just want to show you the project itself. This is the headband, and you can see that it's kind of like twisted. And the reason I add that twist is because when you wear it on your head, okay, the twist, I put it down back here in the back of my head, and what happens is it fits nice and smooth all the way around your neck, but when it comes to the twist, it is twisted, so it makes it narrower here. So it fits a little bit more comfortably on the back of your neck, and I think you're really gonna like that little part of the project as well. So I'm gonna show you how to do all that. Let's get started with our yarn and start our stitches. So I'm starting off on one end. I leave a little bit of a tail. And now I am going to cover some of the basics as we go through this project, but if you're a complete newbie to crochet, definitely use the link that we've included for you in the description box below. That will take you to a video series that I have on my other channel, the Crafty Gemini, and it's a full beginner crochet series. I start you off completely from scratch. But if you're a beginner, we're going to assume that you know some of the basics here. We are going to get started with our slip knot. Let me just show you quickly how I did that. I wrap it around 2 fingers, then I bring it under, and then I just pull it up. And I don't pull it out completely. I just pull it enough so that it tightens it up and makes a little slip knot here. Now I'm starting off with the size H crochet hook, which is the bigger of the two. The H is the bigger one. And we are going to start off with 6 chain stitches, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you may be wondering why I hold my yarn like this and everything. Crochet is really a matter of your comfort level and what works for you. So this is just how I've been crocheting since I was a kid. So that's what works for me. Okay, so play around with holding the yarn and the hook and work out something that's comfortable for you. So after we do those 6 chain stitches, I'm going to pull up the loop a little bit and change my hook. The reason I start off with a larger hook is because oftentimes if we start off with the same hook that we're going to use to complete the project, those chain stitches will be a little bit too tight, okay? So a larger hook is going to give you a little bit bigger stitches. So that's why I did that with the H. And now we're actually going to work this yarn with a size G hook. The reason I'm working with a size G hook instead of H, which is what's recommended by the manufacturer for the yarn, is because I like my stitches to be a little bit closer together. You can always change the look of the fabric that you're crocheting by adjusting the size of the hook that you're using. So if you're going up in the hook size, your stitches are going to be a lot more open. So you're going to get a lacier look where you can see through the fabric. Whereas if you go in a smaller hook, the stitches will be smaller and tighter. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to use a G. Now to get started, we are going to just be using the simplest crochet stitch. It's called a single crochet. And to do that, we are going to start here. Let's have a look first. This loop is coming out of this first chain stitch. So we're going to skip that one, okay? So act like this loop here belongs to that chain stitch. So we're going to actually skip that first chain stitch and come into the second one. Do you see that? Instead of coming in right here, I'm skipping it and coming in right here, okay? So you put the crochet hook in through the loop first, then you're going to yarn over and pull through once, and then yarn over and pull through the 2 loops that you have on your crochet hook. So that's a single crochet, and we're going to repeat that. Now I'm coming over to the next one in line, which is this one. Yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull through 2, okay? And you're going to work your way around there. So what we did is that we're end up making 5 single crochet across. We started off with 6 chain stitches, we skipped the first one, and then we're doing 5. And you're going to repeat the same process all the way through. So I've gone all the way through the end. I've done 5 single crochets. Now we're going to turn because we are building up the headband this way in the width. So if you look at one of these samples here, we started off here, and now we're going to go this way, then this way, then this way, then this way, and you're going to build it up until you get the length of whatever you need for your crochet headband. Or if you're, this would be a great way, the same technique to use for like a shoulder strap on a bag, a belt, things like that. It's the same exact thing. All right. So let's grab our project here. Now I'm going to show you how to turn. We have to come back and stitch in the opposite direction now. So when you get to the end of each row, you're going to take 1 chain stitch, and then you're going to turn your work. And now we're going to do the same thing, 5 single crochets across. But you got to know where to start. This first loop, again, that's on my crochet hook belongs to this first stitch here. In the stitches, you can tell by the V shape that's on them. So if you look, you can see the different little V shapes that you see here. If I cinch the top of it in between my 2 fingers, you kind of see like a V here, a V, a V, and these are all your individual stitches, okay? So this first V that's up here, I'm going to skip it again, right? We always skip that first one. And I'm going to come into the second one. And I grab the full V stitch. You see how I put my hook through those 2, through the entire V? Put it through there, yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull through twice. Okay? And repeat it again. That was 1, and we're going to do 5 across. This is my 3rd one. 4th. And my last one here is 5. Again, you get to the end of the row, you're going to do a chain stitch. Do 1 and then turn. Again, skip the first one, and you're going to do your 5 single crochet all the way across. So I'm coming in here. Now I'm just going to show you a couple of rows so you can start to see how it's coming together. And then you're just going to repeat the exact same thing. It's really repetitive, real simple, and it's a great way for beginners to practice a simple stitch like the single crochet. Okay? So there are my 5. And you can see that we already have quite a few rows of this coming up. All right? So there's the fabric that I'm weaving or crocheting together, and we're just going to continue it all the way to the end. So once you have that, you're going to end up with something like this. And let me pull my sample off of here so I can show you what it starts to look like. When it comes to the length of this, the best way really is to put it over your head and measure it, because yarns are all going to be different depending on the fiber content. So you can see that even if I hold this up and I stretch it, it stretches out quite a bit. So if you measure around your head and you say, okay, I need it to be 23 or 24 inches, if the yarn doesn't stretch that much, or if it stretches way more, you may end up with a headband that's way too loose for you. So what I like to do is kind of just drape it over my head and feel in the back. You don't want it to be super loose, but you do want it to like stretch out a little bit so it stays on your head. And so to do that, I can, just by telling that, I can tell that I need a couple of more, just at least 1 more row. So let's pick up where we were here with this one. Where's my G hook? This one. So you just repeat that process, that what we've been doing, and you're going to end up with something like this, okay? So here we are. I'm going to do 1 more row. I'm at the end of a row here. So I'm going to do 1 chain stitch and come in. I'm going to do 5 more single crochet really quickly. It's the same thing we've been doing the entire time. And I'm going to show you how to close it up at the end. You don't want to tie it off or fasten it off yet, okay, because we are going to bring it together. So this is where we're going to add that twist that I told y'all about. So you have your strip, 1 long band, okay? You could bring it together like this and crochet it together there, so you have that. But remember, I like to give it that twist so it makes it a little narrower on the end. So to do that, real simple, just start to bring it in close, turn one side, and match up the 2 ends. So I'll show you again. It's long like this, I'm going to twist one end of it and then bring the flat ends together. All right. And now to crochet this together, let me pull out my hook so it's going in the other direction. And you basically are lining up like if you were sewing, and you're going to seam this together here. So we have one next to the other, and I am just going to pull them in through both. So I'm going to come in here and go like if I was just going to do another single crochet, go through this first one and then go through the second fabric. You see how I'm grabbing both of them? Now we're going to do slip knots, which are going to help cinch in the fabric without adding any length to it with stitches. So we're going to pull the yarn all the way through everything that we have on the hook. So we end up with just one, and that's a slip knot. So again, I'm coming into the next stitch on the other end of the headband, yarn over, and pull through everything. So I end up with just one loop on my hook. And you're going to do that all the way across, all right? So there's 3, 4, and my last one here, make sure that you're going through both of those, is 5. So I've sewn that together. Now you just want to pull up a little bit of a loop. We're going to give ourselves a little tail, and this is how you fasten off all your crochet projects. You'll leave the last loop that was on your hook. You're going to cut a tail, put the tail through the loop, and then just pull on it, and that's going to give you a little knot. And it's called fastening off, all right? So there's the headband. It's done. Now we have these tails left. And if you're a beginner, please don't grab your scissors and clip right there, okay? We definitely want to weave these ends in so we don't run the chance of it unraveling or fraying on us, and it'll just start to come apart, okay? So I'm just cut off an end here. I'm going to now thread my tapestry needle, and this is how I do it. I put it straight. I put the needle through it, like up this way folded, and then I just pinch the thread. So I kind of squeeze that yarn in a little bit, and then I push the fold through the needle eye. Okay, it's an easy way of threading your needle, your tapestry needle, with the bulkier yarns too. All right, and so now what we're gonna do is weave it in. There's no rhyme or reason to this. You just wanna start hiding those tails. So I'm just coming in, over, through this other area here. It doesn't matter where you go, you just want to weave in at least an inch or two. And I usually will come like in a W shape or a V shape. I find that that just helps the tail ends to stay in a little bit better without weaving out over time. And then after you weave your tails in, then you can cut nice and flush right next to the project, because we have a knot already and we have additional tail ends. And you can see that it just disappears. You don't see it at all. So you're going to do that to the other one, and I have a sample here that just needs one more. So you can see I've done that to one. Again, thread your needle. And weave it in. We'll trim that end off. And there you go. Your headband is complete. I hope that you enjoyed this crochet tutorial. Remember that I have a full series on beginner crochet videos over at my other channel. We've included the link for you in the description box below, as well as a link to a page that includes all the materials that I used in this tutorial. If you made this project or you give it a try, make sure to take some pictures and upload them to social media. And then if you enjoyed the video right here, go ahead and hit it with the thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and don't forget to click that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.